Pythagoras. Yeah, you know the name. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. It's probably the most famous equation in history, right? But what if I told you that the theorem is the least mysterious and maybe even the least interesting thing about the man himself? Okay, let's dive into this, because the real Pythagoras is one of history's greatest enigmas.
This slide just captures the whole puzzle perfectly, doesn't it? On one hand, he's celebrated as the first pure mathematician, a champion of logic and reason. But then you look at the ancient sources, and they paint a totally different picture. A miracle worker, a prophet. Some even said he was the literal son of the god Apollo. So, which one was he? A scientist or a demigod? That's the question we're going to dig into.
Okay, so check this out. This story is one of the earliest things ever written about him by someone who was alive at the time. And right away, we're not talking about triangles. He supposedly stops a guy from beating a dog because he recognized the soul of a dead friend in the dog's whimper. We're talking about metempsychosis, the idea that souls get reincarnated. For Pythagoras, this wasn't some minor belief. It was the absolute core of his mystical worldview.
So to figure out how he came up with these, pretty radical ideas, you have to look at his early life. And it wasn't just a simple biography, it was a deliberate, decades-long hunt for wisdom that took him all across the known world.
Let's just trace his steps for a minute. He's born on the Greek island of Samos, and his first stop is to learn from the big-name philosophers of the day, Thales and Anaximander. But that wasn't enough. Around 535 BC, he travels all the way to Egypt and spends years there, getting initiated into the secret rites of the Egyptian priesthood. Then, his journey takes this crazy turn. Persia invades Egypt, and he gets hauled off to Babylon as a prisoner. But there, he ends up learning from the Chaldean Magi, who were masters of math and astronomy. Every single stop on this trip just added another layer to his unique way of seeing the world.
And this is a great breakdown of what he brought back with him. You see, this wasn't just some backpacking trip. From Egypt, he got the obsession with secrecy, the strict dietary rules, including that famous and still weird ban on eating beans, and all these rituals for purifying the soul. And from both Egypt and Babylon, he grabbed onto these huge ideas, that reality is built on numbers and that our souls are on this cosmic journey of reincarnation. These became the literal building blocks for the society he was about to create.
So, let's see how this all comes together. Around 518 BC, after being away for decades, Pythagoras finally settles down in Croton in southern Italy. And he doesn't just open a school. No, he starts something way, way more intense. The Brotherhood of Secrets. And you've got to understand, this was not your average school where you just show up for lectures. The Pythagorean school was this all-in community that wanted to control every single part of its members' lives. And it wasn't just that. It was a major political force. They were an elite group trying to completely reshape the city of Croton based on their philosophical rules.
And the whole thing was set up with this really strict hierarchy. At the very center, you had the inner circle, the mathematikoi, which means the learners. These were the true believers. They lived together, gave up all their personal belongings, and got initiated into the deepest, most secret teachings. Then you had the outer circle, the acousmatics, the listeners. You can think of them as the day students. They lived at home, could have jobs and property, and just learn the basics through simple sayings. It was a system designed to protect the core secrets behind layers of silence and absolute commitment. And how did you enforce discipline in a place like that? With this one simple, powerful phrase, autos apha, or in Latin, ipse dixit, which means he himself said it. This was their motto. And what it meant was that whatever Pythagoras said was law. End of discussion. You didn't question the master. And that tells you everything you need to know about the dogmatic, almost cult-like vibe of the whole operation.
Okay, so what was this huge secret they were guarding so fiercely? We're getting to the absolute philosophical core now. The one big idea that tied everything together. The mysticism, the politics, the weird diet. It was a single, mind-blowing revelation about the nature of reality itself.
To really get it, you need to know this Greek concept of the arche. It's basically the fundamental stuff that everything in the universe is made of. The philosophers before him had suggested physical things like water or air. But Pythagoras, he made this incredible leap into pure abstraction. For him, the arche wasn't something you could touch or see. It was number.
This was it. The central dogma. All things are numbers. And listen, this wasn't some kind of pretty metaphor. He meant it literally. Reality, at its deepest, most fundamental level, has a mathematical structure. The universe wasn't just describable by numbers. In some profound way, it was made of numbers. And they saw proof for this idea everywhere.
Their big aha moment came from music. They figured out that beautiful harmonious sounds, like an octave or a fifth, correspond to perfect simple whole number ratios on a string. It was solid proof that this invisible, beautiful order could be captured with numbers. So they applied this idea to everything. The cosmos, they believed, moved according to these same ratios, creating a silent harmony of the spheres. Even something as abstract as justice was given a number, the square number 4, because it represented perfect balance.
In all of this entire cosmic vision was packed into their most sacred symbol, the tetractys. It's this triangular pattern of 10 dots. What it represents are the first 4 numbers, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Add them up and you get 10, which for them was the perfect number, because it contained all the musical and cosmic harmonies. This wasn't just a logo, it was a mystical icon. It's what the members swore their most sacred oaths on.
But, a secret, elite society trying to run a city, well, that kind of thing couldn't last forever. So let's look at how the Brotherhood all came crashing down, and how its central ideas somehow managed to live forever.
The Pythagoreans' elitism and their tight political control eventually caused a huge, violent backlash. Around 508 BC, a democratic uprising in Croton went straight for the Brotherhood. Their meeting hall was attacked, it was burned down, and a lot of the members were killed. Pythagoras himself actually escaped, and he fled to a nearby city, but he died not long after. And to this day, nobody really knows exactly how.
So the man was gone, and his secret society was totally shattered. But the core idea that the universe is written in the language of math, man, that was just too powerful to die. And this timeline just shows its incredible journey. You've got Plato, who builds his whole philosophy on the idea of a perfect world you can only see through math. Fast forward almost 2,000 years, and you have Copernicus using Pythagorean ideas to back up his theory that the sun is the center of the universe. Then Kepler comes along, and his hunt for the laws of planetary motion was literally a search for that ancient harmony of the spheres. And today, the idea that the universe is governed by mathematical laws is the absolute foundation of all of modern physics.
So we come all the way back to our original question. Was he a mathematician or a mystic? A scientist or a demigod? And the real answer seems to be, he was both. You can't separate them. His true legacy isn't just that theorem you learned in school, it's the revolutionary and truly immortal idea that underneath all the chaos of the world we see, there is a hidden, beautiful, mathematical order, and that we, through the power of our minds, can actually understand it.
If a question made you stop and think, take one more second. Philosophy doesn't give easy answers, it teaches you how to ask better questions. Like the video if you enjoy thinking. Follow Philosophy LM and keep searching together.